test video of the type of driving ASMR video that I would like to do. And I hope that this turns out to be a successful experiment. I am recording this audio as I am driving and letting the new camera that I bought take care of recording the video and the audio together. So the highway is not as empty as I would have liked it to be, but I think I'm going to have to wait till maybe like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning in order for that to be a reality. Since this is just a test, I'm driving at about 1 o'clock in the morning. So the highway is not completely clear, but clear enough. One of my main concerns is the road noise and how loud that is in comparison to my voice. And if you're hearing this audio, then that means I was able to use it. If not, I'm just going to record the audio separately in my little studio at my house so that it sounds better for you guys. The other thing that may be affecting the audio is the power that I'm using to drive. My recorder is plugged into the cigarette lighter, and that is buzzing a little bit. And while the unit itself is far enough away from the microphone that you're not going to hear that buzzing, it may be putting some noise in the electrical line, and you may be able to pick that up from the microphones that are in my ears. So we'll see. You don't think about how loud road noise is when you're just driving, but when you're doing a recording, suddenly you're aware of absolutely every little noise that is going on. So enough about that. I've always enjoyed driving, and especially driving at night on a highway that's fairly deserted. Not a lot of traffic to deal with. You just concentrate on the road going by underneath your wheels. You can enjoy kind of getting lost in the experience of driving, paying attention to the way the light plays on the road and on the reflectors. And while it's dangerous if it's a sleepy experience, and I would not recommend it if you are feeling sleepy, but I definitely recommend it as a peaceful experience, something that can, or at least for me, brings calm and some serenity and some contemplation. I think it's a more inwardly focused experience, especially when there's not a lot of traffic. Right now there's a few cars out, which makes me have to be aware of them, obviously. That takes precedence over anything else. But as we drive, maybe the traffic lot of other people do too. So we're going to go up here to this exit, and then we're going to turn around and head back into the city. That should give you a nice overview of the roads and where I live. So we're going to slow down here. I'm not quite sure how this works. Yeah, I think this goes straight out onto the road. So we're going to have to drive down a little bit and then turn around. In fact, let's do this. We're going to go down this street here, and we're going to turn around right here. And that'll take us back out to the highway. I always like the sound of blinkers when it's night. And you're driving. It brings back a memory to me of riding in a car, not necessarily driving in a car, listening to my dad driving. Not knowing necessarily where we were going, but knowing that a turn was coming up because his blinker was on. And knowing that I would soon feel the car shift. And feel the car drift around the curve, taking a change in direction. Kind of like rocking you to sleep, I guess. Okay. Let's get up to speed here. So we can get onto the highway. And we'll head into town. I wonder if I talk a little louder. I think I may be talking too softly to make myself heard over the noise of the road. The noise of the engine isn't that bad, but I'm aware of the sound of the road. And I want you guys to be able to hear me still speak kind of softly. See if I hit the right balance or not. So I thought about making kind of just talking about different things that are on my mind, or that have come to mind. So I hope that you'll find it relaxing. Kind of like you're riding in the car with me, maybe. Drifting off to sleep while I kind of chat about things. It is September. The summer is winding down. Slowly, but it is winding down. Temperatures this morning were actually in the 70s, which is kind of refreshing change of pace from the 80s and 90s that we've been having. And it warmed up during the day, but the morning was nice, cooler than it has been before. So while fall is still quite a ways off, it was nice to get a little bit of a break. We had the tropical storm / hurricane come through about 2 days ago. Some places were off or closed during that Friday, so I had the day off. And tomorrow I have off because it's Labor Day. So between the storm and the holiday, it's been a nice 4-day weekend, which is always enjoyable. Since I have off tomorrow, I can sleep in, which means I can drive late at night for you guys. The road we're driving on is kind of the main highway into town. Every morning and afternoon it is absolutely packed with cars driving to work in the morning and driving back home in the evening. I try to stay off of it as much as possible during those times. But for right now, it's nicely lit. Nice yellow lights washing over the asphalt. Sound of the tires on the road clicking away. Bridges zooming overhead. This road has some straight stretches and then some nice gentle curves as it moves through town. It's not a very complicated highway until you get to the very end. It kind of splits off a little bit. But the exits on and off are pretty straightforward. I was in Richmond, Virginia, about a month ago, and was trying to follow my GPS instructions for how to get to a restaurant that was downtown. And that highway was not straightforward. The exits were so close to each other that it was hard for me to discern which exit the GPS was actually asking me to take. And so once you got off on one of them, it would loop this huge loop around and dump you off downtown. Then you had to try to take these one-way streets to get back onto the highway. So I'm sure my GPS was very frustrated with me, trying to discern where I should be going. But the big loops were kind of fun, even if they were confusing. We eventually found the restaurant and had some very, very delicious Ethiopian food, which I hadn't had in a while, so that was nice. But it made me appreciate my town a little bit more, because I would not like to have to drive those super busy, super complicated highways every single day. They're enjoyable when you're on vacation and you're finding someplace new, but I think it would get tiring very quickly. Now it looks like the highway is emptying out. This is a good time to drive. Following the dotted lines of the reflectors. Keeping a nice constant speed around the curves. Letting the cars drift by on either side. It's kind of neat not having any specific place that I'm driving to. I'm just driving around, not driving to anywhere. So I went to a wedding today. A good friend of mine was getting married. So that was awesome. It made today a very good day. There's a lot of people there. I'd say easily 700 people showed up. We definitely filled the church up. There's just a few seats that were empty. It was a beautiful service. And not just because it was a wedding. I always enjoy the Anglican services that we have in our church. But it was beautiful also because I knew the people getting married. I was very happy for them. So I don't have very many plans for this Labor Day holiday. Probably should cook something out on the grill. That might be nice, even if it's just hot dogs and hamburgers. I think that's kind of a requirement for Labor Day, isn't it? Kind of any holiday in the summer. Maybe I could do that tomorrow and go out, get some hamburgers, some hot dogs. I think the weather should be pretty good. It's one thing about having a tropical storm or a hurricane. Kind of sucks all the moisture out and takes it with it. So the next few days are always really beautiful and clear. It's like the weather has exhausted all of its energy for a while and is catching its breath. Coming up to a big bridge here. I was hoping it would be lit up, but it's not. I don't know when they turn the lights on, or they only do it for special occasions, or they only have it on for a certain period of time at night. So I don't know that you'll be able to see it very well. We'll see. Oh well, that's okay. Still a nice, pretty wide road, lit up with street lights. So I know I mentioned that it's Labor Day here in the States, but if you're not living in America, you might not know what Labor Day is. So I'll tell you what I know, which isn't a whole lot of detail. But Labor Day is a day in which we celebrate those that work. those that labor, those that get up every day, go to a job, making something or creating something or managing something. And I think it's a pretty awesome holiday. Because oftentimes you lose track of the people that keep the economy of your country running, keep it growing, keep it moving forward. Oftentimes the jobs that people do are pretty thankless in the big scheme of things. Their boss may appreciate what they do, and their company may appreciate what they do, but oftentimes everybody else just kind of takes it for granted. So Labor Day is a good day to remember those people who have oftentimes literally put their lives on the line to fight for fair treatment of people who work in this country. And sometimes it's something we lose track of. That the work environment that we enjoy today is not and was not a guarantee. It was something that labor unions and those people that were part of labor unions fought for. Because working conditions, especially in factories, used to be pretty horrific. Child labor was a common occurrence, and oftentimes a requirement for a family to be able to make it and get by and put food on the table. And oftentimes workers were forced to work very long hours in plants that were constantly speeding up so that they had to work faster and faster. So sometimes labor unions get a bad rap, and sometimes deservedly so. But they served and continue to serve a useful purpose. I think sometimes it can get a little out of hand, but I think having the ability for workers to come together and form a counterbalance to the management of a company is important. So Labor Day is a day in which we acknowledge those accomplishments and those people who help us move forward as a country and as an economy and as a society. And I think sometimes that's lost sight of. I think oftentimes Labor Day just becomes kind of another generic patriotic holiday. People don't really remember why have Labor Day. Sometimes it becomes just another military holiday, like Veterans Day, but that's a separate holiday, which we acknowledge another section of our country, of our population, that makes our country better, safer, and stronger. And what better way to celebrate a holiday than with good food? So I think having a cookout will be very appropriate tomorrow. So what types of food do you traditionally cook out or make or eat when you have a holiday in your country or in your area of the country? The United States is really big on grilling or barbecuing or smoking something like racks of ribs or a nice steak. And we always have desserts or side dishes that are traditional for the family and usually reflect the heritage of that family. Whether it be Italian or Mexican or German or Indian. So it should be no surprise that I'm talking about food again. I think food is one of those common things that everyone can relate to, no matter where you're from. Everybody likes food. Everybody likes preparing food, sitting down to a nice table full of food, eating food, sharing food, talking about food. I think the Food Network is one of the few cable channels that have actually stayed true to its original purpose. Most of the others have drifted off into something that is kind of tangentially related to where they started from, but the Food Network continues to focus on food. That's fine with me. So we've kind of made a very big loop around part of the city. We're roughly heading back the way we came, just on a different road, different highway. Shoreline spread out here before us. I hope you can see that on the video. Twinkling lights of a factory and some harbor, docks. rest of the year. Summertime is always a kind of more relaxed time. Not a whole lot going on. But everybody saves up their events for when school starts. Everybody's back in town. Vacations are over. Time to get serious again. And even though my children are not in elementary school or high school, they're in college. So I'm not impacted by it quite as much. The change in the school year definitely has an impact on me. Whether it be my work or my social life or my church life, all of those things ramp up. And this year seems to be particularly busy. But in a good way. Things are getting done, decisions are being made, projects are moving forward. Friends have come back in town from vacation and want to do things together. So before you know it, we'll be turning around and it'll be time for the holidays. I'm looking forward to this year. Sometimes it seems like they come around so quickly as you get older that it's difficult to enjoy them. But this year I'm kind of excited about it. Start making some holiday plans eventually. Not right now though. We still got a little ways before we have to start filling in that section of the calendar. How is your school year going, or your work year, your fall? How's your busyness level? Depending on where you are in your life. Are you super busy? Or are you going to be super busy? Are you looking forward to some projects you have to get done, or vacations you're going to take? Let me know in the comments. And let me know what you think of this video. I hope that it we've made pretty much a complete loop. So I'm going to get back on the highway here and go home. So thank you for watching and listening. Please subscribe to my channel and give this a thumbs up to let me know how much you like this type of driving video. I'm going to do some at night and some during the day as well, I think. So we will see you guys later. Thanks.